Hello, Namaskar. Welcome to my pod, the CAA show coming straight from London. CAA, as all of you know, is Conversations and Analysis. My name is Juggi Bhasin. To become a subscriber, all you have to do is to press that red button on your screen. Subscription is, of course, completely free. Would also really appreciate if you could like this video and share this video with your friends. All right. So why do we mess it up when we are so close to victory? We have done that in the past, and there's a danger we could do it again. Now, what is this victory which I'm talking about? What is this mess up which I'm talking about? I'm going to talk of both these things, both these parameters in today's podcast. Let's start with the positive news, the victory, which I'm talking about. There are a lot of good things which are happening in India right now, a lot of positive things which are coming our way. And if say that we are close to an inflection point, a tipping edge in a certain way, where we could go forward as almost a developed country, as a country of huge importance, which you already are to some extent in the globe, but are of very significant importance because of all the positive and the good news which is coming away. So that would not be an understatement. The first biggest big thing which has happened is, which we have talked about earlier also, is of course the aftermath of Operation Sindhu. Though Operation Sindhu technically still continues. And the aftermath is that the whole world has seen the precision and the targeted manner in which we carried out the military strike, which have opened a windfall for us. What is this windfall? The windfall, of course, is that we have suddenly, out of absolutely, almost out of nowhere, we have emerged as this top notch weapons manufacturer. So many countries in the world are interested in buying our weapons, and it's not only Armenia or it is not only the Philippines, but a list of the countries in Latin America, the list of countries in Asia, Egypt, so many other countries. They're all interested in buying Indian weapons. So that's a windfall which has occurred after Operation Sindoor. And it has occurred for the simple reason that we have shown to the world our capabilities in carrying out precision strike right down to the last millimeters, which means that you have now the ability to hit targets at incredible speeds, but also with incredible accuracy. Which means you don't kill civilians, because killing civilians would obviously invite opprobrium, or it would invite the wrath of the world on you, which we haven't done at all. And therefore, the world has watched in awe and wonder how India carried out these strikes. And therefore, so many countries in the world want a piece of the same action. They want our weapons, they want the Akash Tir, they want our drones, they want our capabilities, especially the capabilities to link up so many different weapons platform for a defensive and all-round defense shield, as it were. So many countries want that. And that's all happening right now. Those orders are coming in thick and fast, which means a lot of foreign exchange and a lot of intense good standing of the country in the world. So that's a big positive uptick which has happened after Operation Sindoor. The second big thing which has happened is that even we have created an opportunity out of a crisis ever since China has become absolutely, they have cracked down on the rare earths issue. They are not giving their rare earths to people, to countries in the world. And therefore, we have reached out, we have formed an alliance with Quad. There is an agreement now to bring these rare earths. The countries will cooperate with each other. And then the prime minister's tour to Africa, to Ghana, to all these other countries, and then to Latin America, to Argentina. These are all aimed basically for securing rare earths, for securing all these minerals, essential minerals, which are used in EV technologies. All that is towards that particular end, which is also going great guns. But I think the biggest game changer which has really happened is this oil discovery which has happened in the Andamans Islands, which some people are saying that could be even bigger than the Guyana oil discovery. And what does it really mean? Imagine the drilling has already started, by the way. And it could really mean that not only India in the foreseeable future becomes completely self reliant in terms of its oil and gas requirements, but probably at some point in the future, who knows? We might even start exporting oil. The potential of this discovery is so huge and so big. It will change the fortunes of the country really completely. And therefore, we are right now a middling economy. We are a developing country, but we could, it could just give you that ability to leapfrog. There is this word called leapfrog. You would leapfrog into the very big league because of the soil discovery. So that's something huge which has happened to India. And then the poverty situation, acute poverty is almost has been wiped out in the country. Everybody gets enough to eat. Of course, there is unequal distribution of wealth and all that is there. And the fourth largest economy also, according to new World Bank estimates, also means that we are also fast becoming an equal sharing economy, which is great news. So all these are big positive features of which are positive developments which are coming our way, and it puts us in a very good position. But what the note of caution which I'm sounding is that this has happened in the past also when things have become really good things. There is this positivity which appears on the horizon. We somehow have this knack or this there's this almost this insane ability to completely spoil it, to mess things up. Just to give you an example, for instance, we won the 1971 war with Pakistan. It was a decisive victory. And what did we end up doing? We ended up by giving so much of importance to Bhutto. We ended up by returning those more than almost there's 1 lakh Pakistani prisoners of war back to Pakistan. We ended up by being going very soft on Pakistan occupied Kashmir. All that could have changed after the decisive 1971 victory. We could not take advantage of that. And therefore, what I'm cautioning is that right now, when we stand on the brink, almost on the tipping edge of a complete victory in military terms, in economic terms, in terms of exploration of oil and gas, in terms of poverty alleviation, I think the alarm bells should start going on, or should start ringing now. This is the time when we have to be very careful. All the steps have to be very cautious, calibrated, well thought of, because already there are straws in the wind that we might just be messing up a few things here and there. And I'll talk of what some of the things, missteps, which we already have taken. And if you don't control them, then it could boomerang into something very big. But know this, the warning bells are there. The first big thing we need to be careful about is the internal situation in the country, because there are forces in the country who will try, and at this precise time, maybe they are in the pay of foreign intelligence governments or foreign intelligence agencies, but they want to stir up language divisions. They want to stir up sub-regional divisions. They want to stir up caste divisions in the country, and that is a very dangerous sign. We can already see, for instance, what was happening in Tamil Nadu some time back. Then we saw what is happening in Maharashtra today in terms of the regional issue, the language issue, which is again being, it is being propped up by certain forces who are politically becoming irrelevant. So that's the first thing we need to watch out for. The second thing we need to be very careful is that after you have secured a major victory, I would say, over Pakistan in Operation Sindoor, then you really have to be very careful in applying the pressure and not letting go of the pressure, because the idea of a victory is not only in that moment or in the few weeks which follow after that, but it is something which is a permanent state of affairs. It has to be that, but that is not happening. The misstep, for instance, of unblocking the YouTube channels of Pakistani social media influencers was a very wrong step. And anybody who says that it was something which was lost in translation, or it was some kind of a inadvertent error, is completely lying. It was well thought of. Somebody had done that. At which end, from which ministry, has yet to be found out. But exemplary punishment should be given out there, because we cannot have this unblocking of channels. Because I'll just give an example. For instance, I'm in London at the moment on a holiday. And in London, of course, some of these Pakistani channels, you can easily watch them on your YouTube. And I'm watching something what this gentleman called Najam Sethi is speaking. And you have to listen to the filth and the rubbish which he keeps talking about. And these are supposed to be some of the more liberal, some of the more intelligent voices in the Pakistani establishment. If they can speak rubbish like that, then imagine what the Hamid Mirs and other voices in Pakistan are saying. We don't need to hear them. They have to be blocked, which also means that we don't give away concessions in a moment of victory, because we have this Indian problem of emotionalism, sentimentalism, call it whatever you will, but we just give it away when everything is going away. We don't have this, this heart state and Israeli kind of mentality that you don't let it go, you don't let up, you just keep on applying the pressure through and through and through till permanent change comes. We don't have still that ability. We have done great things, as I said, in Operation Sindoor, but the ability to enforce that pressure is still not there. And the YouTube fiasco, of course, is an example of that. The Wagah beating retreat ceremony, which goes on pointlessly. It is absolutely stupid, what is happening out there. And the excuse given is that some shopkeepers around that area will lose their livelihood. So be it. It doesn't make a difference. Nation comes first. That also should go. But I think what I really need to sound a note of caution is on the single biggest thing which we can let go in the future from pressure. It's not even the trade deal which we are right now negotiating with America. I'm pretty sure that those concessions which the opposition is saying that we might just give in dairy and agriculture, I don't think so that's going to happen. If it happens, then of course the government will have to face the music, but I don't think so that's going to happen. I'm not too worried about that. What I'm worried about is the single biggest success we have achieved post Operation Sindoor, which we need to almost keep it permanent, and that is on the IWT, that the Indus Water Treaty front. And I somehow, I don't know, I have this hunch or this feeling that maybe later, as things settle down more and more, we could start giving concessions. Obviously, egged on by foreign powers and other countries who said, no, 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 you have achieved your purpose. Now it's time you give them water, some of their water back. You need to give them concessions. That would be a disaster. Nothing of that sort is happening. Good statements have been made by the Home Minister, have been made by other important authorities in India that the IWT is now non-negotiable. Great. But I still get a sneaky feeling that if the concessions come, then they could come on the IWT front, that we said, okay, release their water. No, we can't do that, because that's a single biggest weapon which you have. And despite all the bluff and the bluster of the Pakistanis, and that's a program for another podcast, we can analyze into their state of mind and all that, but that's a different thing. But the fact is, they need that water desperately. They are desperate for that, and we cannot give that back. What we really also need to do is to normalize not giving the water back. Till now, for these decades and decades, it was normalized that India was obliged to give that water to Pakistan. That was drilled. Not inside only in the Pakistanis, it was drilled in our heads also. Because even during the 71 war, the biggest war, which has happened between India and Pakistan, IWT was never an issue really, because we were still giving water at that time. But what we need to do after Operation Sindoor really is, and I think that would be the biggest gain of Operation Sindoor, is we have to normalize the fact that the Indus waters are our waters. We are not going to give this. This is our water. We are not going to give it. Let it go waste, let it go wherever, but it cannot be given to Pakistan. That's the sum of it all. That is what we really need to keep an eye on. We need to normalize this normalization that the waters are ours. We will redistribute it whichever way, either through dams or canals or whatever. And talking of canals, there's another argument which is being made by some worthies and social media. Oh, that if you build canals in the next 2 years, then be very, very careful, because that means that the water will come, of course, to India, but then you will not be able to renegotiate giving the waters back to Pakistan if tomorrow there's need for renegotiation. Now, I'm saying is, why are we even raising these kind of questions? The canals have to be built, the dams have to be built, the storage capacity, the desilting, all that has to be done. The canals have to take that water, siphon that water away. It has to go to Punjab, to Rajasthan, to Haryana, to all these states in northern India. Where is the question that once the canals are built, then we cannot renegotiate the canal waters? Because there's no question of giving back the waters. That should be our attitude. We should not even raise questions out here. And therefore, what I'm saying is that these voices will come up after some time, both from the international arena as well as from within the country. That, guys, enough of this IW thing. Now it's time that you become a little more flexible on IWT. At least let the waters go. We start making those arguments, then we again re-normalize the previous situation which used to exist, where they used to grab almost the entire chunk of Indus waters. Pakistan used to do that. Now we have to normalize a new normal, and the new normal is that these waters are ours. We will use it whichever way we want to waste it. We want to do whatever with it, store it, redistribute it. We will do it our way. That has to be the new line of thinking. And finally, the last point on the cultural issues, this Diljit Dosanjh issue. Look, I like the guy. I he as a Punjabi, I can relate to this. I had some of his goofiness and humor, and I've seen some of his Instagram videos and all that. He has his charm. I don't deny the fact. But the fact is, his heart and mind, I still don't think are in the right place. And this teaming up with a Pakistani actress, and in the past also, he has made certain statements which a lot of people say are pro Khalistanis. I don't know if they are really pro Khalistani, but they're not exactly very complimentary to our country also. He has supported this farmers' agitation, and we all know the adverse effects of that agitation. He is an entity who has, I think, over the years positioned himself as a kind of a Indian by birth, but he is a person who belongs on the international stage. He can go into Canada, he can go into London, he can go into wherever he wants, he can interact with all kinds of people, including the Khalistanis. He's okay with that. That's the feeling which I get about Dalit Dosanjh. At the end of the day, we are all colored by our what the country has given us, our nationalistic feelings. And that is something which I don't find reflected in Diljit Dosanjh. He knows he's a very intelligent man. He knows very well the implications of teaming up with a Pakistani actress and bringing out a film. And then for me, what is even more offensive is I don't know the story of this new film, Border 2, but it is believed to be based on a Sikh a war hero. Um, why Diljit Dosanjh? Yes, sure, he's very photogenic. He's a good actor also. He probably would suit the part. But there are a lot of things about him which are questionable at the moment. Why not some other actor? You have to ask the producers that particular question. But as far as he's concerned, and the larger context of this entire cultural milieu, that and it's not the cultural milieu also, it's also the sports part of it. I believe the hockey team of Pakistan is going to visit India. Why? Why should we have even these cricket ties with Pakistan right now? And if, for that matter, if there are some problems which we face in the process of boycotting Pakistan, then so be it. It has to be done. Why are we even thinking about having some kind of a rapprochement on sports and cultural matters with a country which look at the way they talk about us post Sindoor, look at all those their figments of imagination which they are spreading all over the world as the kind of great victory they have achieved over India, which is of course not true at all those things. And then in the same breath, you disrespect your soldiery, you disrespect your war heroes, you disrespect especially your martyrs who have laid down their lives defending the country. When you establish these cultural and these sporting ties with Pakistan, no need for that. And by the way, to just to give you a world perspective, it's not only India which probably will be the first country to do that. All countries in the world, major countries in the world have done that. Uh, the Olympics in the USSR of old, well, you know, during the height of the Cold War, the US and the USSR did not play with each other. Uh, I've been watching Wimbledon here in on television here in London, and the top seeded women's player is a Russian. She's a Russian by origin, but she cannot use Russia against her name. Which really means that when people or countries they want to crack down on things which they don't like, they do it. So why should we be apologetic about that? Why should forces within the country make us feel apologetic about these cultural, within quotes, cultural and these sporting ties? There are a lot of implications of that. There's a lot of meaning behind that. These things are always done when things are good, when things are even Steven between countries, when there is peace and harmony between countries. But that's not the case with Pakistan, as we all know that. And therefore, this is not some fanatical point of view which we have to enforce, but the fact it's a pragmatic and a practical thing that at one level you're trying to pressurize this country into giving up its terrorist habits, and the other level you're encouraging it by all these cultural and these sporting ties. There's absolutely no need for that. So these are the missteps which we have been taking in the past, which we are prone to being taken again right now, even as I'm speaking. This is what we have to be really, really careful about as we go in the future, because believe you me, in one sense, everything has changed between India and Pakistan after Operation Sindhu. This has not been an ordinary military operation. This has been almost like a kind of a nation changing experience, call it, if you will, between both countries. We now exactly know what Pakistan is made up of. And therefore, there are no choices but to be hard and fast against Pakistan. There is absolutely no other way. And if you let up, if you give up, if you start making concessions midway, then it's all going to snowball into the old problems of the past. They're going to come back to haunt you, to bite you, to bedevil you if you're not careful. And so, on this note, I come to the end of this podcast. I hope you really liked it. Like my show, do subscribe to it. And on this note, it's goodbye and cheers from my end.